a very wonderful webinar on 5G, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things technology convergence. And more particularly, this webinar is being addressed as a keynote speaker by one of the eminent personality in the field, Dr. Aloknath, who is a Senior Vice President and Chief Technical Officer, Samsung R&D India, located at Bangalore. On this occasion, I like to welcome all the participants first. The participants are most important because it is the participant because of whom the webinar is being conducted, and the success of webinar depends upon the participation level of the individuals. I also welcome the panelists from Electronics and Telecommunication Division who have been pioneers for rebuilding IIIT as an independent initiative being done by a large number of professionals across the country. On this occasion, I like to introduce Dr. Aloknath, who is a keynote speaker. Dr. Dev is a fellow of the prestigious Indian National Academy of Engineers. He is a fellow of IIT. He is the senior member of IEEE and is presently the Senior Vice President and Chief Technology Officer, Samsung India Software. He has done his PhD from McGill University, Montreal, Masters in Engineering from IISc Bangalore, and BTech from IIT Kharagpur. He has numerous features in his cap. Among them, some of the worth mentioning are Alexander Graham Bell Prize in Canada, IIT 6th B.V. Balinga Memorial Award, IIT 6th N.V. Gadadhar Memorial Award, and many more awards. Throughout his life, Dr. Day has been crafting core technology spanning from modules, from mobile devices to radar system, and currently he is building and driving solutions in intersection space of artificial intelligence, IoT, and big data. Dr. Alok is a missionpreneur. Missionpreneur is much more than an entrepreneur with a dream to make India an R&D hub. I believe with his talk and with his motivation, the participation level, which has been quite large, will be largely benefited, and they'll be motivated to make really India an R&D hub and an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Over to Aloknath Devi.
Thank you, Anilji, for your kind words and introduction. Yes, it is very, very important. IEI is a very old institute, and we have been member and fellow for a long time. It is doing good job in specific areas, but I think potential is huge. And keeping all this in mind, a lot of us are coming forward and trying to see how we can bring this cutting edge technology. And we will be doing a series of seminars that is in the plan. Today, some of the panelists that are there, they will be also taking up in subsequent days a part of the topic. So with that, we will have at the end question answers. I would love you to ask, to write questions in the chat box or Q&A, or ask directly at the end of it, and we'll have a panel discussions. Time is very limited, so we have kept it short. And the topic is too large, right? But we thought, since we are starting, and technology convergence is a big thing that's happening, and therefore let's focus on this technology convergence aspect. And what are the key things that is very hot in the electronics, telecom, computing divisions is 5G, it is emerging, and AI and IoT. So at least in these three contexts, I wanted to bring today's technology convergence discussions. So, 5G. So I will use just two slides. Again, you have to excuse me. This is the first time. Time is limited. We'll just introduce the topic, and we can have, depending on your interest and feedback, we'll take up these in much more details in subsequent seminars. So 5G. So let me put just two slides to get you. What is it that is happening? See, in India, pan-India, and even Samsung, we have worked with Jio and then Airtel and Vodafone Idea. All these have been doing this LTE networks. And from there, we wanted to go to 5G. I joined Samsung in 2011, and my first assignment was to start researching on 5G. And it took this long from 2011 to 2021 to research, to go through different phases, and now we are deploying. In fact, it will take another 4 or 5 years to get a mass deployment in different countries. So such kind of systems take almost 10 years. And I just recently wrote a book on 6G. This is world's first 6G book, along with few other 6 other editors. We will talk that separately, but let's keep it on the 5G. 3 things that are important. There is enhanced mobile broadband, the peak rate of data. If you can see on the right-hand side, there is a octagon kind of diagram. This tells you different metrics. You have peak data rate, you have edge throughput, meaning you have the cell, and around the cell, how much throughput are you getting? Because if you are inside, then you get high throughput. But when you are in the border, in the fence, what is the kind of throughput you are getting? Then we talk about spectrum efficiency. Mobility, if somebody is driving at a very fast speed, would it be working? Latency, connection density, because lots of machines are getting connected. Earlier, this measurement was not there, but today we talk about how many devices per square kilometer are connected. Network energy efficiency, 5G is talking, but 6G will be much more, whereby we want to make sure the world is sustainable, the energy consumption is much lesser. And area traffic capacity. These are 5 important metrics with which it was defined. And if you see inside some lighter green color diagrams and then something touching, you can see the figures, what we wanted to achieve in 5G. That's the circular dimensions, whatever numbers are written, that's the 5G number. But if you see inside, there is an IMT 2020 and IMT advanced. And it's not all uniform, because we could achieve some dimensions very strongly, but some we could not achieve. For example, spectrum efficiency, we've been able to do reasonably, and we can do even better. But if you look into area traffic capacity or connection density through IMT advanced, even we could not do much. And we wanted to have 10-fold increase. In most of these cases, either 10-fold up or 10-fold down in case of energy. For example, consumptions would be 10-fold down, so the energy efficiency will go up. Here, it's even more. It's an 100x that we are talking. So this is a diagram that is written on the left side also. The 3 key things. I needed a high throughput, peak at 20 gigabits per second, edge at 100 megabits per second. I need an ultra reliable low latency, error rate at 10 to the power minus 9, and latency at 1 millisecond from 10 millisecond earlier. And I am starting to do machine type communication. So therefore, many of them are very small sensors, 10 years of battery life, because I want to put some sensor on a pole top. It must run very small data, but it must survive for long, because otherwise the overhead is too high to change the battery. So it should be that much battery life, and connections per kilometer square. So with this, with Samsung, you know, as you see in the bottom, there is a lot of things. 2018, 1st December, we did it into the B2B, and 19 March, we launched in Korea first, SK, KT, LGU, all these together, same day in B2C kind of launch. And since then, lots of phones and devices you must have seen are foldable and flippable phones that is doing that. But also, I think first we started with Winter Olympics that happened in Korea. That is the first time we tested. So how does this work? Bottom, I said 2011 we started. So 11 to 16 was a lot of research. Each of the companies did their own research. From 16 to 20 standards, as you see below, it is called 3GPP standard, March 2016, release 14, then release 15, release 16. They talked about 5G. Now people are working on release 17 and 18, which is called beyond 5G, but 5G is about 14, 15, 16. So that's a standard. This is a deployment. Those are the metrics. I hope you got it. And just one example that I'm showing, when you try to test, you have to test it gradually. Somebody is walking, is it working? Somebody is going in cycle, will it be working? Because that roaming, that handoff, is it working? So then in high speed, then under the tunnel, then with the train, that is how we tested between the 5G base stations and consumer premise equipment. That means the terminal that we hold, the phone or something, tablets, that's what is 5G CP. And with that, now people are thinking about different services, internet on board, for passengers, entertainment, for train operators, security, train control, crew assistance, and many such applications that we can build. So I think I'll stop here for 5G. Let me introduce AI, IoT, and then little bit together. So let me now go to the AI part of it, just to introduce. So AI is artificial intelligence, right? Augmented intelligence. And there are many things. You ask Alexa, do this, do that. Can you order? You see Google Assistant. If you want to know who was the first president of America, or anything for that matter, you can ask that question. From Samsung, we've been working on a program called Bixby. This Bixby can see, Bixby can find, Bixby can remind, Bixby can talk. This is an assistant, but not in the same league as the others. Here, our purpose is when I connect many devices at home or otherwise, can I control those devices by voice? Can I see what did I put? I have the core apps, applications in the phone, my contact, my calendar. Can I utilize them? So here, when I say Bixby, find all pictures of Jen and me, right? So it can go there, and it is there in the phone. It is very hard for you to search, but there is metadata that gets saved. So if I order, for example, now even if my phone, if I say, Bixby, can you take a screenshot? So it will wake up, and then you cannot hear it, maybe loudly. Hi, Bixby, can you take a screenshot? So you can see that the Bixby is trying to take it, and it's trying to take the picture from here. So Bixby can do this. If I have done summer vacations, it can be intelligent and say, okay, you went 2 places summer vacation, which pictures are you talking? So it is contextual, it can do it. It can remind you, suppose I'm making a travel 9 hours before that, the way we set it, any hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. Did you take your passport? Did you check this thing? Did you take your medicine? So it can remind you because it knows in the calendar that you have that kind of service and can bring it. So the second picture is Bixby sees. You wanted to buy this shoe, you liked somewhere. So you take a screenshot effectively or a preview, and it can go and search in Flipkart or Amazon or other places once it is connected. I mean, I'm not saying all places are connected. You have to partner with those companies. But if you can partner them, then you can see and where is that shoes, and if it's similar shoes, and you can give those conditions, I want exactly or I want similar, and therefore it could bring it back from that. So I think Bixby sees, Bixby reminds, talks, things. This is one kind of example of artificial intelligence whereby you are not choosing, you are not spending your time in searching and sorting. You are asking the system to do it, and it is doing on your behalf. I hope you got the crux of it for today. And now I go to the IoT. So 2 slides on that. If I talk about smart home for us, and we would love to do that. I was talking to Mr. Amitava, and he's in the mining today. We would love to do some IoT from mining to manufacturing. I could add again some manufacturing things. But today, let's talk about smart home. Just when you buy devices, one of the important thing is easy onboarding, because not all of us are very technology savvy. There would be people who just want to use it. So therefore, as they unbox and connect the device, it should pair with the phone. After that, phone should take care and connect to the cloud, connect to the Wi-Fi AP, and this device should be onboarded automatically. This is called easy onboarding. And with that, many of Samsung devices, we have a Smart Things platform. I'm trying to give some examples of that. And we can talk about refrigerator, air conditioner, all these devices get connected through this mechanism to a cloud called Smart Things. So today, the Smart Things, we have about 190 million devices globally are connected. And they are talking to each other. I can control if you have an authority, because everybody's home is everybody's home. We maintain privacy, but if you want to connect, you can do so. So these are things. And then for the developers or for the things, we write this kind of micro routines. You see below, good morning mode, going out mode, movie mode. For example, you want to see a movie. What do you do? Suppose there is a curtain, we want to put that down. You want to switch off the big light, and you want to put some romantic light, maybe some yellow color, red color, whatever, to make it interesting. But there are 3 things happening: curtain down, this light off, that light on. Can we group them and make a microservice and call it movie mode? So I don't have to do each of these actions. The system does on my behalf. This is Internet of Things. We detect, we have 3 different devices, but one condition: when that happens, when I'm going to watch the movie, could you connect them? And therefore, through that, it can work. So there are many such mode, and we can take it some other time for details, but I'm hoping you got that there are many devices connected. They can be easily onboarded, and you can create such modes which can run automatically. And underneath, there are many technologies, like I talked about 5G, but here you can have short distance proximity, 10 meter. You can use NFC RFID. If you go a bit more than Bluetooth, Zigbee, you go further, you use Wi-Fi for higher speed. You go WiMAX and other things for 10 kilometer. And then LTE, 5G, Sigfox, LoRa can cover even 100 kilometers. So IoT makes sure it allows you to connect in any way. There is a middleware that protects, that gives some security, and then make sure that you can connect all those devices very nicely. So that's my brief on the IoT. So I've talked about 5G's essence, AI essence, and IoT. And now just 3 slides to little bit synthesize how they are connected and why convergence that I talked about. So for example, in 5G, it can be used as backhaul, the core network, and then connect. But street lights could be having this connectivity nodes. From that street lights is going to be very, very important. And in India, we sometimes see that they are kind of down, and that's not going to be a very good thing for IoT and this communications. So it can connect the gigabit traffic. Each one is smaller. As you see on the right side, IoT sensor is 250 of them with 256 kilobits per second. But when you add up, it becomes 62.5. Similarly, if you have digital signage, 5 of them in the stretch, you can get 5 into 24 Mbps. So that becomes 120 Mbps. So when you add all this up, it becomes a gigabit traffic. That whole traffic from that stretch can be carried through this street light to these other places and goes to the 5G core. So these are IoT side of the story. The right side stories are smaller, many of them. Wi-Fi, IoT sensors, CCTV, digital signage, many of them, the garbage collection cans, all these we could add, but on the other side, 5G is acting at the backhaul. This is the one kind of convergence in the smart city context. Second thing, little bit moving forward, this is not done, this is in the standard, but you can talk about 5G vehicle to everything, high definition map update. You know, today when I go in high speed, I must make sure that lots of, you know, since the speed would be up to get the map right, because I may have an exit quickly and it has to be refreshed nicely. And India map is opening it up. Government has opened up for not just few players and monopolies, but now the private players, startups have started acting. So these could be a good combinations and a solutions that could come even from startups. So again, 5G and vehicle to everything is connecting the IoT context. Now, AI, if I bring it, for example, below, if you see on the left side, there are 3 cars, right? Right sides, I think remote driving, you can do from a distance, you can do a remote car driving, traffic light I mentioned, but let me take this example of vision sharing, camera, LiDAR. Here, I think all kinds of things are there. So what's happening is that if you have a big van or a truck, you know, and it's obstructing the front, right? For the blue car, it doesn't see the yellow car. And suppose it wants to overtake and things like that, this is not a good situation. So it becomes the big vehicles, the red vehicles' responsibility to see from the front through LiDAR cameras and project it at the backward in this display, so that the blue car can see that there is a car if you want to overtake this. This will become in future in kind of some citizenship norms for the vehicles. And not now, but in 10 years time, we do expect. And from Samsung, we have demonstrated this. So this is again a good example of 5G, AI, and IoT. So I come to my last slide, which is an interesting, not from Samsung, but just to make it fun. And on Sunday morning, you know, you all love cricket, and you know, this is a cricket ball. This brings the AI and IoT together. So inside the ball, there is this, you know, as you can see, there is this gyroscope and accelerometer. This can measure the acceleration, deceleration. And with the ball, you can count the speed and the spin that is there. So there is AI algorithm in the cloud, and that could process, apply, and immediately track the bowling and can guide the players. If you are novice, then it can project against some of the expert players and say how he would have or she would have played, and now how are you playing? Therefore, you know, you could learn from there. Or even if you are playing a big match, you want to check the competitors, you know, the opponents' games and how they have done, and the weakness that you want to spot. This would be a way to go. This is from a company in Australia by name Kookaburra. They have already built it. It has gone for certification, and very soon you could hear that, you know, they would be part of the test matches and other places. It's still in the testing phase, trial phase, but very soon you could expect. Here there is an IoT with the sensors, but also AI algorithm, machine learning algorithm that works in the system in the cloud, and it could communicate. So through these examples, I wanted to highlight what is 5G, the speed, latency, machine connectivity, AI that brings the contextual part, IoT that connects the sensors. And through these examples, some today it's happening, some are about to come, but not too far is in the field to take it forward. So with that, I pause it, and we will take some questions and panel discussions. So Anilji, I'm handing over to you. Thank you.
Sir, it is indeed my great pleasure that in hardly 22 minutes, in a very concise manner, so beautifully here you have given a brief idea of all the 3 domains and how the three are converging and how beautifully this can be utilized for the societal cause. Now, before we'll go to the panelists, and I will introduce the panelists later simply saying the name. Apart from Aloknath Deji, we are having three panel members. Professor Arvind Kumar Choubey, he is the director from IIIT, Bhagalpur. Engineer Ramchand Chakraborty, he is the managing director of PSI Metals India Private Limited. And Mr. Amitabh Kavasi, he is a senior manager, Tech Solution Planning. But prior to panel discussion, let me tell you why we are here today and who is the brain behind it. A large number of intellectuals from industry, from academics, from research and development, from consultancy has taken the lead for formation of a group, a platform, rebuilding IIE to carry forward the cause of the Institution of Engineers India to restore its past glory. Before we go for panel discussion, and I can see now the Samridha has some technical issues, and he is already joined. If he can deliberate in very brief, in 4 or 5 minutes, what is the rebuilding IIE and why it is there? Over to Mr. Samridha Kumar. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, hello. Can all of you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
thank
can
you,
go
Dr.
ahead.
Anil Kumar. First of all, really sorry there was some technical issue at my end because of which I joined a bit late. So not wasting any more time, I'll like to elaborate on what exactly rebuilding IIA is and what is the purpose behind it and why we are striving for this mission. So, since you all are a member of the Institution of Engineers India, I'm not going to give any fresh introduction to it. You are already aware that being a 100 years old organization having the Royal Charter, II used to play a major role in the development of engineering and technology in India. It had representation in all major communities related to the engineering field in India. II facilitated the formation of the Indian Standards Institution, which is now BIS, the Indian National Academy of Engineering, INIE, the Council of Architecture, COA, and many others. Before the formation of AICTE in 1987, it was the accreditation body for engineering courses in India, and II accredited the first ever IIT degree courses of IIT Kharagpur in 1956. Since 1928, II used to conduct the prestigious AMIE examination, which leads to degree level education to diploma holders engaged in the profession. But unfortunately, due to poor leadership by the council members of III during the last decade, it has lost its past glory. The recognition of the prestigious and century-old AMIE course has been withdrawn by the government. The apathy and incompetency of the present council members, who never held a responsible position during their service life, have resulted in a complete detachment of II from the government. The members of II now do not get any chance to present their views in government forums. To regain the past glory of II, to project it in the national arena as the responsible representative of engineers, to ensure registration of engineers under the banner of IEI, to revive the century-old AMIE course, to organize high-quality international and national symposiums, to ensure participation of all members in the national development, and to diversify IEI in line with NEP 2020 and National Skill Qualification Framework NSQF. A large number of eminent engineers, academicians, consultants, and others have come forward. We, as well-wishers of IEI, would want to see IEI back to its glorious position in the national and international arena, and we would request you to kindly support this group of eminent people, the corporate members, in their noble endeavor. Details on why IEI initiative is given on the website. You can Google it and know the details. Also, we have received a huge response from our members in support of the initiative, we also require your active participation and desire to utilize your expertise and experience to the best extent in this way forward. We request you to spare a minute to fill up the feedback link given on the website after the end of this webinar. Do what you can with what you have where you are. This was what was quoted by Roosevelt, and we solely believe in that. Thanking you and expecting your wholehearted support. This is on behalf of the entire team rebuilding II. Now I would hand over back to Dr. Anil Kumar to take the webinar forward.
Thank you, Mr. Samridha. In a very concise manner, you have talked about what the rebuilding II and why we are moving forward. Our only one mission and vision is to restore the past glory of II. Now moving to the panel discussion, and let me introduce our panelists. We are having, apart from the keynote speaker, Dr. Aloknath, we are having the three more panelists. One by one, in brief, I will be introducing them. We are having Professor Arvind Kumar Choubey. He is the director of Indian Institute of Information Technology, Bhagalpur. Earlier, he was a senior professor at Department of Electronics and Communication at NIT Jamshedpur. 100 publications, research papers in national international journals is to his credit. He did his PhD from Ranchi University and Masters in Engineering from IIT BHU. He is holding many important positions in various government departments, like member of the executive committee of IIT, expert member of the interview board for the post of professor in UPSC New Delhi, and many more in CSIR and other DRDO and other domains. Our second panelist is Engineer Ramchand Chakraborty. Engineer Ramchand Chakraborty, he is a managing director, PSI Metals India Private Limited. He has a vast experience and was country manager India PSI Limited. And prior to that, he was marketing manager VAI Automation Private Limited and held many highly responsible positions throughout his career. He is an experienced managing director with a demonstrated history of working in the information technology and service industry. He is a MBA in marketing as well from Jadavpur University, Bachelor's of Engineering from Jadavpur University. He is a senior member Indian Society of Automation, USA, and president of International Society of Automation, Kolkata section. And he is a member of the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. The last and fourth panelist is Mr. Amitabh Kavasi. He is an alumni of IIIT and presently he is a senior manager tech solution planning, Srijon Microsystems. Earlier, he was a project manager, Wipro System Limited. He is highly performing, result focused delivery manager with 25 plus years of experience. His expertise in directing global quality and process improvement initiative, system engineering projects and program management. Without taking any time, I will now move to the panelists for discussion today. And if any question comes from the audience can have the question. They can type in the chat box and they can respond. But prior to that, the panelists can discuss among themselves. Over to Dr. Aloknath, who is the chairman of the panel discussion today, and three other panelists. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So it has been a pleasure to talk to you about the 5G, AI, and IoT. And, I see some questions. So just a little bit of answer for that as we open all the panelists. One is about security protocols. And one is about, I think it was more about the why 5G. I think maybe the question was asked before. So just for everybody's benefit, repeat again, the 5G brings three important things. One is a high throughput. Second is the latency should be reduced because we want to make sure interactive games, if we want to apply that in the car, it's a high speed transmission. So therefore, interactivity, latency has to be less. That's very, very important. And third thing, we have been talking about people-to-people connectivity, but here we start to bring machines, not very heavy, but many sensors, many devices, and I talked about our smart things, which is already 180 million devices connected. So that's also part of that journey. So this is there. And the second part of the point is, how do you secure it? So yes, there is a device security, like we use Knox, and then we start from there. That's the device security. And then you go and connect to the hub, up to the cloud, cloud to cloud. There are various protocols. For example, OAuth is a protocol, which is authentication. So at every layer of it, all the standards define security as an integral part of it. Therefore, you could do that. Will there be no problem? We can't guarantee, because there are people who are attacking, who are finding new ways how there is a gap. So it's a continuous work. It is not a done work, but I wanted to highlight that these are defined already into that. And the next question that has come, I wanted to bring the panelists. And so Dr. Arvind, if you can talk in these convergence, the way you see it, let's open it for all of you and your views on that. Thank you.
Thank you to all, and good morning to all. Very nice coverage by the Aloknath there, and it is the emerging topic, 5G, AI, and IoT. So nowadays, that is the AI, IoT, it is the in fashion. So first of all, I think not about IoT today. Topic means we are gathered here regarding the how to build up the image of the IO, that is the Institute of Engineers. So how AI can be used for the building these images of the Institute of Engineers. So you have to think about this one, and you are approaching this for the different ways, and just like webinar and other resources. So regarding the IoT, everyone knows it is the what is the IoT, and the very detailed discussed by the Aloknath. Actually, the data as well as the 5G and this IoT, this is the Internet of Things. It is the increases, and the facilities of the electronics devices, it is the increases. So data, the problem is the data. So because each and every equipment talk to each devices, and naturally data comes in pictures. So how to handle these data? It is the very big questions. So it is the maybe the suggestions that is the edge computing, maybe cloud computing. There are two techniques generally it is be used. So edge computing, it is the nearby the devices, and cloud computing, all data go to the cloud, and they are the artificial intelligence and all the decisions coming from there. So 5G, no doubt, it is gigabits per second, and the latency rate is within around 1 milliseconds. So I told by the Aloknath ji. So I think in the case of the 5G, AI, and the IoT, it's the nice topic, and each and every devices is connected with the AI. Earlier, it is the IoT. Just internet things, you communicate to each other. Suppose any person in the morning, the alarm clock, which is the setup, and 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, they wake up, and as soon as they wake up, maybe bathroom lights should be open, maybe geyser should be open. So by these IoT devices, they are interconnected to each other, and suppose in the that is your microwave and your fridge, which is ready to make your bread and something, and the kitchen's equipments, and each are connected to each other. So no doubt it is the very easy work. Nowadays this is the manner all persons are engaged in the. There is no time to spare the this for this work. So for the easiness of this one, it is interconnected and the communication to machine here. So it is the 5G. Actually, in the India, it is the 5G. It will take a long time. No doubt, Reliance and the other companies coming in the pictures, but I think in the 4G, still we are using the 4G, but it's a long time. And the 5G, how is at Samsung, Aloknath, it is working since 10 years in the 5G, but still the 5G fixed frequency, it is the suitable, it is the gigahertz, that is the low side 5 to 10, I suppose 25 to 30, and maybe high 40 and something high. There's a 3 range defined in the 5G frequency, that is the bandwidth. Frequency range of the this one. So these are the still work is going on, and some of the countries using this 5G, but in India it will take time. So no doubt, day by day, technology increase. So
Thank you.
Today, we one question coming from the what is the that is the Institute of AIM. So it is the Associate Institute of Members Association. This is the one question actually. Earlier, that is the 18 papers and the section A or section B. In the section A, suppose 8 papers, and the section B, it is the 9 papers. So 10 papers. So after the clearing the section B, then people go to the section clearing the A section, then go to the section B, and it is the equivalent to the BTech degree. But nowadays there's something questions arises. It's it is not considered as equivalent to BTech. So again, this is the coming how to rebuild, because the Institute of Engineers assigning the BTech degree equivalent to BTech degree, but nowadays it is not considered as a BTech. So this of the work should be the again we should come forward, and is should that is the attempt to make the image of this Institute of Engineers. So this is my view.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I think 2 different dimensions. One, you talked about data intelligence and fog computing, edge computing that we could bring in. And 5G, yeah, it is taking time in India. And 2 bands, one is below 6 gigahertz. That's what is many countries are adopting, and some is higher. The standard is defined, but which country should take it, that may take time. But the other burning question I see in the chat is AMIE, is it recognized, and what do you do next into that? So with that, Mr. Ramchandra, if you would like to comment in either dimensions on the technology convergence or this AMIE aspect, that's great.
Sir, if you allow me, if anybody can answer, well and good. Otherwise, I can respond to that, sir, with the permission of the chair.
We'll leave it to you, Anilji, at the end to you to clarify fully. But
yeah, sir, AMI is the legendary past of Institution of Engineers India, and many of the places in the country and organizations, III is not known, but AMI is known. AMI is more popular than II. But in July 2012, Government of India has given a notification. Prior to that, equivalence had been given, and they have withdrawn the equivalence, not from AMI programs of II, from all other professional bodies. A case is pending in Delhi High Court on the issue, and the final judgment is yet to come. Government of India, through AICT, has already given a direction to IEI as well as all professional bodies not to take any admission beyond 2013. About recognition, let me make very clear. Those admitted up to 2013, I'm repeating, those admitted up to 2013, their program as per AICT declaration has been recognized as equivalent to bachelor's in engineering. So those who have been admitted up to 2013, and beyond that, if anybody taking admission, it is beyond the direction of the government of India, and it will not be accepted. So blindly we cannot say AMI is not recognized. For all those who have taken admission up to 2013 and passed out, their program is recognized. Even AMI plus MTech program has been considered by 2016 notification of Government of India that they will be treated as BTech plus master's degree for consideration of lecturer, assistant professor in government or non-government engineering colleges. For AMI who have passed out prior to 2013, they are being considered and they will be considered. There is no bar on them for holding any superior positions, either for a recruitment or for promotions. So this is the status. Beyond that matter is sub judice, and I am not competent to make any comment. And this was the issue, which was a very burning issue, and very unfortunately, in a very callous manner. I should not blame any individual in India, but as a whole, II has not foreseen the future of II linked with AMI. They have neither taken up this issue very seriously, nor they have tried to diversify. For example, NTPC is gradually trying to diversify in the field of renewable energy because they are seeing the future of the fossil-based energy is going to be over. So unless you not diversify in emerging area, there will be no future for you. So in 2012, Government of India, by a communication to Institute of Engineers India, and I was a part of Institute of Engineers India at that point of time, has advised to realign AMI program in line with vocational education, means skill education. And II refused, and they have not done till date. In National Skill Qualification Framework, NSQF, Government of India has declared that if somebody is attending level 6, he is equivalent to Bachelor of Engineering. Somebody is attending level 7, he is equivalent to Master of Engineering. And in NEP 2020, Government of India has very clearly asked Higher Education Department when there will be a realignment of entire education program, a new qualification framework is to be formed in the name of Higher Education Qualification Framework, HEQF. And it has been directed by the policy that HEQF has to be integrated with NSQF so that lateral movement can easily start from skill qualification framework to higher education qualification framework. So to my mind, this is a big area and this is a big opportunity for Institute of Engineers India where we can diversify, keeping intact, fighting for AMI. Fine. AMI is our legend. AMI is our glory. We have to fight and we have to try to restore its glory. But at the same time, we should not spoil any more time for diversification. And the biggest opportunity for diversification is we are having in the field of skill development. We are having 121 centers across the country and all having equipped with large building and other infrastructure. So we do not have to invest anything on infrastructure. We are having a large human resource base, technical human resource base. So friends, those who are aspiring for AMI fresh, I will advise them as of now, please don't aspire for AMI. Please aspire for doing various level of NSQF programs. And once you will do NSQF program, level 7, you will be automatically treated as equivalent to Bachelor in Engineering. Recently, 5 days back, Amit Khare, the Secretary of Ministry of Education, Government of India, he was talking with Indian Express, and luckily I had got an opportunity to be part of that discussion. So in unequivocal term, Mr. Amit Khare declared because of COVID, it has been delayed by 1.5 years. But within 6 months, they will roll out the entire things so that easily NSQF and higher education qualification framework can be linked. I believe I could explain, and I could much more explain, not only about AMI, about the future of II, where we can diversify. Thank you very much, sir. Over to Alokji.
So thank you for clarifying very nicely the 2013 admissions and how it is getting recognized, and encouraging people to look for alternatives. But as we are part of this, and the whole plan of this panel is to rebuild IEI and IEI and effectively bring back some of these glories in the main agenda. And definitively, we would love to have defined, adjusted, modified, given input to these curriculum. So one of these is this cutting edge technology that is coming. It also needs to be brought in. The courses needs to be modified, needs to be very upgraded. So in that context, I would love to hear Mr. Ramchandra and Mr. Amitav hereafter. How do we bring this to the people that are hungry for it, that our country can grow? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dey. Good morning to all audience from my side. I think it is already good afternoon. Okay, thank you for your time on a Sunday morning when you could have relaxed, but you're participating in a webinar. We have come a long way in computing, starting from modem. Then we have computer at every home. We had the internet, and then we moved to mobile computing and the cloud. Now we have heard Dr. Dey talking about convergence of artificial intelligence, fifth generation mobile computing, and Internet of Things, which is a really wonderful area where the future will take us. I think we expect a brighter future. The role of IoT will be gathering information from the field, from home, from a smart car or wherever, everywhere. And AI will use the algorithm will help us to process these enormous amount of data scientifically. And then the 5G will help us to distribute this information much faster with a very high capacity. Our future of learning will have to have a AI interface, and no doubt about it, because we are moving to an age where we will be riding an autonomous car, which in a fraction of a second will generate 11 terabytes of data, and it's a huge amount of data which has to be communicated and is to generate through IoT devices. And then not only that, the AI will process this amount of data, and then our 5G will transmit this data, and we'll be in a position to ride an autonomous car. So technology is taking us to a very, very challenging future. And I hope all of us will enjoy that technology future. Thank you very much from my side once again. Back to Dr. Dey.
Amitavaji, do you know, I know you have been, Sunday you are in work and you are in the mine, and you came out from there to attend this. So I'll be thankful for that. And if you could add your comments.
Good afternoon, sir, everyone. So Mr. Aloknath ji has taken all the responsibility of 5G, AI, IoT in good manner. And I can say only because I am a industry people, so IoT can be used as a home application as well as industrial application. I am basically in the area of industrial application. So there is a huge future for this IoT application in industry. And moreover, the 5G is helping us for taking the data from industry to the cloud and analytics from AI. And it will give some benefit to the productivity as well as manpower using and all these things. So now IoT, we are next we'll go for a industrial IoT application seminar. So in that case, we go furthermore the different area of application, real-time data analysis and all these things. So right now I'm in a mining application. The network is not good here. I've come to the my guest room to talk to meet the meeting, and I have to come back. So anyway, whatever I got the information, Mr. Dey, it is very good. It is very good example of IoT application in future. I think we'll go further for this type of application next seminar also. Thank you, everyone, sir. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. My network is not at all.
Yeah, we understand. We understand. And thanks for joining. So again,
okay.
Anybody else has any other comment to add? Any other comment on this technology convergence? Okay. Any other questions that people have? I checked the chat group. So just 1 minute, just to check if there is any specific questions. Yes, I explained about IoT's different technology, from Wi-Fi. So just on that, there is an IoT. So 2 questions on IoT. One is what kind of technologies? So yes, there are short range, and I showed in one example. See, Wi-Fi we use because we wanted a high throughput. You go to a hotspots and you can get the Wi-Fi connections and you can get in high data rate. Whereas Bluetooth also have 2 versions. There is a Bluetooth low energy versions, which is very good. If you want to keep your battery, for 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, the BLE is the technology that you have to use, very small. For example, if you have in home, you have this meter, electricity meter, right? So the electricity meter, only once a month you have to send that data, because month consumptions, then the transmission to the BESCOM or to the electricity department, just the month end, how much consumption has happened. And that's a very small data and only once a month. Therefore, such things can last long, but it's a different kind of connections. So in IoT, we look into how much is the speed, how much energy consumptions, how much coverage distance that we have, depending on that we do it. And the second question that is there is on the IoT's applications, which verticals are using IoT more. So there are few verticals that have taken the IoT in a big way. For example, logistics or manufacturing. In fact, manufacturing had IoT. Even before we call this to be IoT, they had it. They have been doing all automations and industry 2.0, 3.0. That's evolving. Therefore, these industries, logistics, manufacturing, they are using quite neatly. But some of others are coming, for example, in healthcare, in smart city, smart home. These are much more in progress. People are finding it out, and then depending on the applications people would use. For example, in home, one usage is surveillance. People are single people or both people working in daytime, they're not there. For example, they have to get the delivery, the courier. Then how do they get it? There is a surveillance. Who is a courier boy? Who is an intruder? Where is a cat? You can actually decide by the AI and then ask for a delivery, or can give an alarm to the person that there is an intruder. So there are things that are emerging and we can keep talking. But today, through this webinar, we wanted to bring 2 messages. One, the technology is converging and we should study more and get involved more in understanding and deploying in using those technologies. And we gave examples of 5G, AI, and IoT, how they could be working, not all of them all of the time, but some of them some of the time in the context and applications. That was our basis for this technology convergence. We plan to do more such series. For example, as I was saying, from mining, metallurgical usage to manufacturing, we can talk IoT in another context. We can definitely call security, blockchain, and those kinds of things. And also about curriculum, how we are teaching in the institutes. These could be discussed more. So this has been our prime agenda today. I hope at the end of the webinar, in roughly 1 hour, you have got some essence of it to carry home. And please look into this. And the other part of it, of our mission today, has been that IEI has been a glorious organization. It has achieved quite a lot in the past. It is continuing to deliver in various ways, but it has more potential, some lost sheen, glory that is gone. Can we gain back? And some of us have joined together to see through such kind of discussions, seminars, participations, taking positions, then we can make sure that this organization gets rebuilt the way we are all envisioning. And if you think that that's a way, then do support into all of this journey. And we will come back with more such sequence of discussions. So thank you. I'm handing over to Dr. Anil. Yeah, you're in the mute.
Sir, indeed, I have no word to thank the panelists and especially Dr. Aloknath ji in a very beautiful and lucid manner. You have made everybody understand, particularly people like me who is a non-electronics or computer man, but who has also understood how this is helping to make the things decision faster, accurate, and efficient. So, sir, we have also talked about why there is a need of rebuilding II. The large number of academicians, technocrats, and policy planners, consultants join hands together just to ensure that II, which is gradually sliding down, can be arrested and its past glory can be restored. This can be restored only when people like you go to the council and become part of decision makers. Because unless people like you do not go to the council and people like you are not part of decision makers, nothing can happen. It is very correct that IoT, data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc., and apart from that, there are many emerging and future skill area. NASCOM has also identified 13 future skill area, and they have signed an MOU with Government of India and IIIT also. We as a part of the Ministry of Education are focusing on that domain also. So institution of engineers should focus always on future skill area to make it relevant and to enhance gradually their visibility. More than 45 participants have joined. I can request them that they should visit the website of Rebuilding II. In Google, they can search Rebuilding II, and there is a feedback form. If they want to contribute, please express your interest to contribute. Carry forward this message. Each of the participants had the moral duty to convey to at least 100 of their colleagues. Then only 3,000 to 4,000 people will come to know what the Rebuilding II and why Rebuilding II has taken this onerous duty to carry forward the message of restoring the past glory of Institute of Engineers India. On behalf of the panelists, on behalf of the keynote speaker, and on behalf of Team Rebuilding II, I am expressing my heartfelt thanks to all the participants. Last but not the least, I must express a beautiful word for a young engineer, Mr. Samridha Kumar, who has been for last 7-8 days slowly organizing these programs. And initially he was facing trouble because of the massive power cut in his area in Bangalore. So he could not connect. But I also express my heartfelt thanks to him. Because of him only, we could make this a reality today. So with these few words, I once again express my thanks to the guests, to the panelists, to the chief keynote speaker, to Mr. Samridha Kumar, and to all the participants. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All the
Thank you,
panelists and
everyone.
attendees. See you again. Thank you.
See you again.
Thank you all. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good.
Sir, we can log out, sir. We can end the program, sir.
Yes, please.
Arvind,
Yes.
Choubey ji, program end kar dein.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.